Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Beth. And what is the subject today? Well, Arrtx. This is my review of the Arrtx 72 set pencils. I have read the Amazon reviews and they sang like angels. I have gone out of my way not to see other colorists talk about them because I wanted to see for myself. I didn't want really an outside influence. So this is what I did to review them. The first thing I did is I took a scrap of cheap watercolor paper. This is cold press. That's why you can see all these little dimples and divots in the paper. And no colored pencil is going to do any kind of good work on this kind of paper. I knew that. I just wanted to get a feel for how soft the leads felt. I like soft leads, and these were really soft. They were smooth, they went down fairly well. I was happy so far. So next, I pulled up some decent hot press watercolor paper. I chose Frisk in an A6 size, just a little postcard size. And I did my next tests on that. Being hot press meant the paper was very smooth, and it's good for pencils. The first thing I did is I wanted to find out how many layers these pencils could do before they stopped putting out pigment and just started moving wax around. I started with 1 layer, and then I did 2 layers, and then 3, and so on, all the way up to 10. Now, I found when I got to 7 and 8 that they were pretty much the same color. I didn't seem to be adding any more pigment to it. And when I reached 9 and 10, I had to really push hard to get it any darker. And even though I was able to get it darker by pressing harder, I noticed on 9 it was just basically moving wax around. So I concluded you could get to 7 layers and get good pigment with Prismacolors. I would get 10, but with this set I only got 7. Then I wanted to see how the Arrtx smooshed. Would I be able to drag the color from one side to another and be able to see the color? And to show how it did, I also did one with Prismacolor. So you can see they both smooshed just fine. And lastly on this test sheet, I wanted to see how the Arrtx layered. Did they blend nicely? Did they get all muddy and brown and cruddy? But no, I was happy. I mean, it's not perfect, but you know, it's watercolor paper, so I was happy with that. The next thing I wanted to do was a swatch. As you can see, it had a really good variety of colors. I was pleasantly surprised at the colors that they gave you. This, however, was where things started to take a downturn. So let's take a look at a couple of things that I noticed. One thing I noticed that several of the pencils were so close. I couldn't tell by just looking at them that they were different. I think I'd need like a chemistry set to be able to see the difference. And then, too, there were some that were already worn away. You could not, there was no name, there was no number, it was just smooth. There were some colors in there I was very happy to see. Uh, Parrot green, oh, I love that color, it's amazing. And things like, and all those purples and lavenders and lilacs. I mean, you know, I live for purple, okay? And this had a really, really good range of purples. I like that. But there were other ranges, the yellows. They had a huge selection of yellows and a good selection of reds and pinks. Greens were actually a little on the low side because generally these pencil sets just really whack you up with greens, but it didn't need it. It's got really good yellows and blues and enough greens to get you by. It's a good set. And then the last test, coloring a picture with them. How did they work? Well, I chose a matchstick mouse page, fairly simple, so I could get an idea of how the colors are going to react to each other and to the paper. I found that they layered really nicely, like in this flower that you can see here. It was almost flawless, as well as in the lily pads. So, yeah, layering is fine, but smooshing wasn't as good. Now, the reason everybody is so excited about these pencils is they are considered to be dupes for Prismacolor. And if they are, that would be phenomenal. They're way cheaper than Prismacolor. And, they saying they're doing the same job. But, and I am probably going to be the only person to say this, but I I don't think they're as good as Prismacolor. I They are a good substitute if you want something along that line, but they are not dupes, in my opinion, which is, probably not yours. You have to put a lot more layers on to get close to what Prismacolor does effortlessly. They're paler because they have less pigment, and they have less pigment means the price is cheaper, so you're having a trade-off there. The last question is the Arrtx pencils wax or oil based? Now, the way they feel very soft when I'm coloring. So I'm thinking there is a lot of wax in them. But they do hold a point, and they layer beautifully, and that's telling me oil. Overall, I would say that this is a very good mixture of both wax and oil. Very well balanced. The wax gives me a very smooth and easy glide color, and the oil gives me a nice sharp edge on that pencil lead. Are they worth having? Yes. Yes, they are. A lot of people, most people, cannot afford Prismacolors. And these, I mean, they're not a perfect match, but they're good enough to get by in. And they're around the same cost as Castle Art's mid-range. Now, I do have trouble with polychromos. I don't like layering, and one of the reasons is because polys are hard. They're scratchy. It's just exactly the opposite of what I want in a pencil. But these layer really nice, and they have that smooth, waxy inner core. So yeah, I'm happy with these pencils. They're not perfect, but they are a joy to use. If you found this video of use and value, please drop it a like. If you are rapidly against it, go ahead and give it a down thumb. I only ask that you are polite in the comments section and don't make it personal. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.